Getting into the Security Token Show main topic for episode 101, we're going to be talking about Binance and their journey into stock tokens. Now, Kyle, you've been covering this space quite extensively as the CEO of Security Token Market back when Binance first launched this in April of this year. So why don't you go ahead and give the crowd here a little bit more information on stock tokens?
Yeah, we've covered stock tokens on the market trading segment here for the last couple of months. And really what we're talking about here is derivative shares of a public market equity. There's a company called CN Equities in Germany that's been buying up a ton of public market shares and then providing exchanges like Binance or FTX or Bittrex to be able to actually issue these derivative shares to the crypto community. Now this started back in 2020 when FTX and Bittrex were pioneering this with a large batch of these tokenized shares, up to 20 or 30 on their platform, and they were doing that very successfully through 2021 until April when Binance came into the game. They drew a ton of additional volume there, but with the volume and eyeballs that they brought some regulatory scrutiny as well.
Yeah, Binance does carry a bit of a notoriety to their brand, and of course regulators took notice about all the activity that was happening on the Binance platform. And so ranging from the UK to Germany to Hong Kong and many others, they came out and basically disavowed what Binance was doing, citing various securities concerns, in some cases requiring private placement memorandums and legal documents to be filed in those jurisdictions in order to comply with their stock token trading. So that was very interesting, and it happened so much so that the US actually keened in on this as well. SEC Commissioner Gary Gensler recently at a speech echoed in some comments on this, right, Kyle?
Yeah, he decided to come out. It was a different form speech, but at the end of his conversation, which was unrelated, he took a minute to discuss crypto and synthetic stock tokens, and he basically said that any synthetic exposure to a security has to comply with securities laws. So this includes stock tokens, it could include stable coins that are backed by securities, it could also include any kind of synthetic exposure to the underlying securities, and they must subscribe to the laws, including decentralized systems. And that was a big thing for him to come out and really kind of outline those things specifically.
Yeah. Binance is trying to kind of reform, if you will, so they've gone ahead and complied. As you heard earlier from our top 5, they are now no longer offering tokenized stock trading. Now they've gone ahead and partnered up with CM Equity in the future to try and launch a portal with them, CM Equity's own portal, and then revert Binance users to that portal in order to continue trading and change their balances to that new portal, although they did mention that there would be new KYC requirements as a part of that process. And that's very, very interesting because there's an article that came out that actually came out in the block featuring CM Equity's CEO saying that actually this had nothing to do with regulation whatsoever and that Binance chose to opt out for its own business reasons, which was made a very interesting statement given that we did see a lot of public regulatory outcry with what Binance was doing, but we do know that FTX and Bittrex continue to operate and without any concern or outcry from regulators doing the same exact thing.
That seems to back up CM Equity's claim that it's not a legal issue, or else you'd think that they would also have encouraged FTX or Bittrex to do the same, especially FTX, who's been very publicly profiled recently. They've been very aggressive with their marketing. You would have expected something there if there was an issue. We'll have to see how this pans out.
Absolutely, and it leaves the industry in quite a little bit of a confusion. It's a relatively brand new industry, but the applications for tokenized stock trading are grand. We saw tens of millions of dollars of trading activity in this short amount of time that this space has been around.
334 million to be exact.
That's a ton. That's a lot. So, that is showing that there's proof of international demand for tokenized stocks. I don't think this industry is going to go anywhere. I think it's only going to evolve and grow. But right now, it certainly leaves a lot of confusion, and it usually bets the same for security tokens, which is you need to follow securities laws in order to comply. So we'll see if Binance eventually does anything to get back into the game, but for now, it seems like CM Equity will be launching its own portal, and we still have FTX and Bittrex alive and well, and who knows who may else jump into the game or which regulators go ahead and start going after some of these other players.
Yeah, I think it proves the use case that there is demand internationally for access to securities. There's not enough opportunity for international investors to be able to get exposed to those things. It really helps define the promise of tokenization and security tokens because of this increased demand. I think that that not a lot of people were expecting, for example, that Grayscale Bitcoin Trust would be one of the highest traded volume tokens through FTX's platform by such a significant margin in number one, by the way, that it's more than double second place. So the arbitrage opportunities are there, real world security opportunities are investable for crypto people. They don't have to be separated industries.
A fascinating use case. It also allows for 24/7 trading of these stocks as opposed to having to wait on the 9 to 4 on Wall Street. So it definitely has a lot of different benefits and use cases, and that's why it's not going anywhere. So hopefully you learned a little bit more about Binance and stock tokens here. That's our show for you today. Hopefully, if you have any questions, you can go ahead and reach out to us on LinkedIn or Twitter, or go ahead and go to our website, Security Token Market, stomarket.com, where you can get the latest trading information, you can get the latest news, or you can even go to our blog and read research reports as well as a lot of different information about the space.
Follow Security Token Market on Twitter, STO Market, because we also host a chat, a Security Token Speakeasy, as we call it, 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursdays, where we discuss the main topic here, bring in thought leaders, and have a cool conversation around what's going on
Always
in the
a
space.
fun time.
We also have the What's Drippin' newsletter where you can subscribe to that and read about some of the great things happening in the space. We've got a ton of content. Subscribe on YouTube and show us some love. We really appreciate everybody checking it out. We'll talk to you next week.
Happy tokenizing.